Ever observed those individuals who simply refuse to engage in conflict? It isn't born from weakness. It isn't a lack of capability. It isn't even a fear of physical suffering. They simply lack that internal drive to validate themselves through force. And that is where the most profound realization begins.
Society frequently projects a specific image. True character is defined by a readiness to strike, to retaliate, to assert dominance and never retreat. Yet psychology suggests a deeper narrative. A reluctance to engage in battle is rarely anchored in cowardice. More often, it is the hallmark of a sophisticated and stable inner architecture.
When a human encounters aggression, the primal fight-or-flight mechanism ignites. Adrenaline surges, the heart races, and muscles coil. It is an automated biological response. However, for some, a critical pause exists between the stimulus and the reaction, a narrow window where consciousness emerges. What are the actual consequences? Is this a genuine threat, or merely a wounded ego? This momentary silence isn't a failure. It is the peak of self-regulation. Those who avoid fighting typically possess a heightened degree of impulse control. They don't function on autopilot. They exercise choice. And choice is the purest manifestation of strength. Another vital element is the perception of status. Countless conflicts are birthed from a sense of perceived humiliation. A wrong glance, a sharp comment, or a biting joke. For a fragile ego, these are existential threats to their place in the social hierarchy. Aggression then becomes the only tool to restore their internal balance. But when self-worth is foundational, a fight is no longer a necessary shield for identity. A person's value doesn't fluctuate based on a victory or a defeat. They can step away and feel no loss of dignity. Frequently, this reluctance is born from the scars of experience. Those who have witnessed the true aftermath of violence, the trauma, the legal ruins, the shattered lives, understand that physical confrontation rarely yields a heroic victory. Usually, it leaves only chaos and regret. For them, a brawl isn't a display of power. It is a surrender of control. It is crucial, however, to distinguish between conscious tranquility and mere suppression. If one avoids conflict through self-mastery, that is maturity. If one avoids it solely out of fear of repercussions or social rejection, that is a defensive mask. Buried aggression does not vanish. It ferrets deep, manifesting as chronic irritability, passive-aggressive behavior, or crushing self-criticism. Such individuals might endure for years, only to detonate over a triviality. It isn't the final straw that matters, but the weight of everything that came before. A mature individual doesn't stifle anger. They become intimately aware of it. They acknowledge, yes, I am angry. I have the capacity for aggression, but I choose a different path. This is the integration of the shadow. Not a denial of force, but the governance of it. Fascinatingly, the most formidable people rarely appear aggressive. They are composed, centered. Their movements are deliberate and efficient. They have no need to perform strength because they possess it entirely. It is that very knowledge of their own capability that allows them to keep it in reserve. A constant thirst for conflict often betrays a deep-seated insecurity. It suggests a self-esteem tethered to external validation, where winning a fight becomes a desperate attempt to feel significant. Then there is the factor of cognitive complexity. The more expansively a person thinks, the more strategies they have at their disposal. For them, conflict isn't just a physical collision. It is a dialogue. It is strategic silence. It is humor. It is a tactical maneuver. They aren't trapped in the primitive kill or be killed binary. Can this restraint be cultivated?
Absolutely. It begins with the audit of your triggers. What specifically provokes you? Injustice? Disrespect? Social pressure? Next, you must train the pause. Even 2 seconds of reflection before reacting transforms the dynamic. That is the laboratory of choice. Finally, there is the mastery of verbal boundaries. A steady voice, precise language, a grounded posture. Often, that internal equilibrium alone is enough to dissolve a conflict before it even crystallizes. The paradox is that others can sense this stability. When someone stands firm, neither seeking a fight nor allowing themselves to be diminished, provocations lose their teeth. Shunning conflict is not a sign of weakness. Weakness is the inability to govern oneself. True strength is the sovereignty over your own reactions.
Maturity isn't found in winning every battle. It is found in recognizing which battles are unworthy of your spirit. Sometimes the most powerful action is to walk away, not out of cowardice, but out of wisdom, because the only true power is power over oneself. Thank you for watching.